It's your man, Pooh Nanners, broadcasted to you live from Houston, Texas. Joined as always by...
It's Nikki from Stealth Shampoo. We got lots to talk about today in the world of VR esports. We got lots of games to cover, except for Pavlov. As much as I like that game, we don't have a lot of information on it this week because it's a community-driven show, and our guy, Bro, from Team Magma's gone missing. So
yeah, Bro, I think is dealing with some family stuff, so we weren't able to get any information from him. So anybody else in Pavlov community wants to reach out to us, you got to let us know. Tweet us those highlights. Otherwise, we'll just have this. We'll look at the standings. We know most of the teams that we've talked to and the stuff that we've covered. We know how to play the game. We play it with ourselves, but not at the professional level. Those guys are insane.
I was playing with itsHalvy. I was at least keeping up. I wasn't doing well, not nearly as well as itsHalvy, but I at least wasn't getting bodied every single time. Me and a couple of those guys were playing some gun game. Pavlov is fantastic, and I believe the Battle Royale, if it's still true, coming out in August. At least that was the last information I heard from Dave the Dev. But yeah, let's go over to the standings here. I'm sure Voltron is still in first place, followed by Dream Team. Yep. Looks like that's true.
Real close, though.
Voltron Dream Team. Yeah. 20-point MMR difference, followed by the Leftovers at 1240. They are, math, 30 points behind Dream Team. So if you guys want to help us out with Pavlov,
if you do your math, you can see the total number of games, too, is less for Voltron over Dream Team. So Dream Team doesn't really have a lot more games they can play in order to catch up.
Hey, help us with math. Help us with talking about these teams. If you guys want to contribute to Pavlov, it is a community-driven show. But that's all we have to say about Pavlov. Up to another game that both Poonanners and I are really passionate about, that we have a lot to talk about this week. Sprint Vector is hot right now.
Sprint Vector!
We don't know if it'll be too hot going into July because we don't have too much information on... Wait, it is July. August!
Yes.
We don't have too much information what's happening with...
They told us they would have July matches. Like, that was legit their only announcement from VR League. They said, we'll do matches for Sprint Vector through July. And then that was like, period. And everybody's like, what does that mean? And then we started getting like less and less interaction from the community. Some people started dropping out with emergent gameplay. We'll talk about that more after we look at this video highlight reel from Katie Dead's channel put together by itsHalvy. So what's going on right here that you're going to see is Katie Dead's going to show us classic map that we all know from the beta, right, Nikki?
It's Ice, the very first map that... Actually, no, not the first
Winter Rush now, I think is what they call it?
Arid. Yeah, Winter Rush, whatever it's called.
Its name has changed a lot.
First map. Yeah, Arid was the first map they showed off at E3, and then they started showing off Ice because Arid was pretty complicated, and they completely revamped that map. But you see a lot of the jump boosts in this gameplay. She is already through the caves at less than a minute left on the board.
Oh, man, so fast.
Insanely fast.
Can you imagine how upset you guys would have been if I played this fast in Vegas? Or if we went there and somebody else was doing this? We'd have been like, what? No. We'd have gotten destroyed.
No one had figured out at the time when we competed in Vegas about jump boosting and about a lot of this emergent gameplay. So now that it's been out for a while, people have really found out how to abuse the movement system. The devs actually cannot remove it. It's permanent. So, and I have it on good authority that there is another Servios game coming out very, very soon. So Sprint Vector is not going to be getting very many more updates in the future, and we're going to have to be stuck with this emergent gameplay that a lot of high-level players have figured out.
That's not too much different than what we see in Smash Brothers Melee. We talked about that before, about how, seeing that emergent gameplay where the developer can't do anything, it's just part of the game, and it's going to be annoying at first unless it's completely game-breaking. And the only way that it's game-breaking now, this is nice recovery here, the only thing that makes it even slightly game-breaking is the people who don't know how to do it yet. Once everyone knows how to do it, similar to, what's that called, wave dashing in Melee, then once everyone knows how to do it, that'll just be professional level play. But yeah, the amount of time these guys are able to knock off by doing jump boosting, and jump boosting used to just be something you saw players do off of ledges, right? But they say Stody now is doing it. He's just bunny hopping the entire way and just crushing people at it. So that's a little bit brutal to have to deal with, I think. Katie here just showing you. Katie here just showing you number 2 in the U.S. gameplay style. She's just showing you how fast you can be if you just play the game and you love it. She did tell me that she's not going to do the Master League, and we're going to talk about Mr. E's Master League, a third Master League, a third league with that name anyway. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but she said she's not going to compete in that, and this will probably be the last season she does because she just can't seem to figure out how they're doing that bunny hopping jump boosting mechanic, and it's just upsetting her too much. So we're seeing.
I was going to say, impossible to outrun by conventional running methods. They don't teach you this in the tutorial. You actually cannot outrun someone who's jump boosting. Just period.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at this interview with Precision that Hasko did for us.
What do you think you have learned since the beta until now as far as how to improve your skills to become one of the top players?
Well, practicing is definitely one of them. Well, always practicing and keeping your stride steady is one of the things that is really important in the game. Keeping your momentum up is also another one. And the final part is, well, even though I kind of discovered this first, it was jump boosting. Some tips I have for new players is memorizing the courses. That's one. The second one is that you learn to use your items carefully, because sometimes you might not get the item you like, but you can actually use it on a different player. And so I would suggest not wasting items by just going for another power-up orb. Just basically use your items whenever you can, when there's an opportunity, because that helps a lot.
Okay.
So that was Precision giving us tips on how to use your items. It is important to pick your items and use them well. I abused that mechanic myself at CES in Vegas by just using the items to win. I was not focusing on actually trying to be the fastest, knowing full well that I could not beat this guy right here. If we take a look at...
is out. Impossible to outrun. Yeah, we got some stats over here, though. Speaking of people who can use items well, Kaznaz still at the #1 North American spot by a pretty good margin.
Yeah, he just murdered that cup, was able to do very well. Everyone else was close in points, but you can see by the point difference between him and number 2 that he didn't lose a single round, which is very normal for him. If he does, it's very rare. Katie Dead, even though coming 5th in that cup, still holding on to her lead by a decent margin, still holding on as number 2. Kaznaz, I'm pretty sure it was been doing jump boosting from the beginning and has got to a transition into bunny hopping, but everyone's talking about Stody's bunny hopping right now because Kaznaz does not stream, and I think Katie said she had just a match that she played with Stody and saw him doing it and how much faster he was, like from the beginning, just taking off in front of her. If you check out her YouTube channel, you'll actually be able to see some of those videos where, or Twitch as well, where Stody just blows right past her. It is absolutely nuts. Let's take a look at, speaking of Stody, let's take a look at the European Cup. You'll actually notice, yeah, well, you'll actually notice with Stody, though, that his point difference between him and Flush has changed. And you might think, well, how did that happen since Stody never loses? He skipped an entire week of playing. I have not found out the reason why. He has not reached out to me to tell me why, but he skipped an entire week of playing, and he had enough points to do that. First season of Echo Arena, we saw the same thing where Boop couldn't play, so his team essentially just took an entire week off, but they were doing so well and so far ahead in points that it made no difference.
Stody taking some time to work on his legs. Sprint Factor's a lot of arm work, so
yeah,
he's taking a week off for leg week, and he's still ahead by math 19 points. Insane. This guy is
that's 19 in the cup. The overall stage standing points is 46 points. That right there, that 19 points you see there is just him always coming in first, never giving up second, because he's just jump boosting the whole way. I've seen that like before they were winning between 4 and 5 seconds. The first place guy, now I think he's winning by like 20. Like it's insane.
And you gotta remember, I think he's the only one who knows how to bunny hop boost, and the other players have not figured it out yet. I don't even know what he's doing. The dude is absolutely insane out of the gate coming out with these hops. Before we thought you can only use it off of ramps, so that's why the margin was so slow, or so low, or you could only use it in the air. Now he's figured out how to use it on any surface, which is just unbelievable. And the devs aren't going to fix it because Servios does have another game coming out very soon. So
yes, they do. Electronauts, right? A game you and I have talked about a lot. Every one of our group has got to try it, but me. We got to see it at the Servios after party, and we also got to see it crash at the Servios after party. That was fun.
Oh yeah, I crashed a couple times. Sprint Vector crashed at CES a couple times. It's just how VR games work. But Electronauts is awesome. I have it on good authority that it is coming out very soon. It's available in arcades right now, I believe.
Yeah, so keep your eye out for that. I believe it has dual mode where you can DJ with someone else. It's a good DJ game. Everything's quantized, so it's like impossible to like miss notes. There's videos. You're just starting to crop up videos with audio in them where you can see the people playing on like a little xylophone, but they don't miss the beats and they can't hit a key that doesn't fit the key of the song because of the quantization. It makes everything you do sound awesome. So, and you know me, I love music games that do that. I loved it when they did it with the Rock Band VR. I loved it when Harmonix did it again with Drop Mix. And the powers that be at Survios have told me repeatedly that this game is a million times better than Drop Mix. So I can't wait to see what they've come up with.
Ooh, those are some big words. I've never heard of Drop Mix, but I'm so into rhythm games right now that I'm absolutely going to be buying this on day one.
So Hasco is trying to push more people to play Sprint Vector because a lot of people are not playing it right now. And we're starting to see people drop out of it. So she's going to play, and she says she's going to come in 8th place and lose horribly. She's doing that as we speak. The matches should begin soon. VR, as we said, was only announced for July Cup, so we have no idea what's coming afterwards. But Survios is throwing Mr. E's Master League, so you can look that up on Survios.com. We'll put a link down in the description so it'd be easier to find. You can also Google it if you don't want to wait. That's a league that you could get into, but I'm pretty sure the top players are also going to be in it. So you have to get in there and kind of scrap for like the lower end prizes because the first and second place, I think, is going to be Kaznaz and Stody all day. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. So Kaznaz, absolutely, if they separate it by North America and
I don't know that they are.
Europe. I'm not sure if they are. We'll have to see how the finals go on August 3rd to 5th. Right now, you guys have a couple more days. It's until the 30th to enter Mr. E's League. Hell, I might even enter just a random time whenever I can get as soon as I put my headset on. But Mr. E's League underway until the 30th. The finals are August 3rd to 5th. The grand prize is an i7 and a MetaThreads custom Sprint Vector jersey. These jerseys are sick.
I want a Sprint Vector jersey so bad.
I'm going to have to buy one if they are on sale. Even if I win one, I'd buy another one.
Well, yeah, if they're going to sell it for sure, I definitely want that.
Yeah.
They're also going to have a random drawing too, right?
Yeah, you don't have to be the best player. If you have no idea how to play Sprint Vector, just submit a random time of you running into the walls, and you can get into a random drawing for an i7, a MetaThreads jersey, or a Sprint Vector swag pack. So you could win even if you suck at the game. If you're good, better chance you get in the finals and grand prize. But even if you suck, you can just enter for some.
So it's a raffle where the only cost is participation. Speaking of where the only cost is participation, let's talk about what happened in Onward. Now, again, we didn't get a lot of information about what happened in Onward. We do follow the league as best we can, but people were kind of tight-lipped this time around. I guess people weren't too excited. Maybe they were tired. They had 2 weeks. We took some time off because of the UK finals, the UK Invitational that happened at Echo Arena, which we'll talk about later. But we didn't really get a lot of information that happened. What we did get was itsHalvy throwing together a quick edit of some highlights that happened just recently whenever ESL did their own cast of the event. But a lot of the shots that he selected had me and Nikki here confused. We're like, we're not entirely sure what happened. So watch in bewilderment and be confused with us.
All right, so in this clip here, it's a 3v4 situation, boss fight versus Lemon Squad. We get a boss fight. Rez right here pokes him with that needle, gets him back up on his feet. It is now a 4v4. And boss fight manages to take out 2 Lemon Squad players, making it a 4v2. And they finish it off 2v1 with the W. You see Scooby-Doo here poking the corner, getting the shot on the Lemon Squad player, knew exactly where he was. This clip, Solo, we've seen before pull off some almost clutch diffuses. I think he has a heart attack right there and collapses.
If you look at the mini-map, there was someone behind him.
Happens. Oh, there was someone behind him. Okay, so I saw 4 players in front of him, and I guess someone snuck up behind him. Yeah. This is going to be a sick grenade coming in. Global Cam versus the Danglers. We're watching the Danglers players right now. I'm not sure why that
up his heroin, right?
Bam! Grenade takes out 2 Danglers players. Insane grenade.
Heroin kills, man.
Yeah, heroin kills. Don't take it. I'm actually not sure why he injected himself right there. He wasn't low on health or anything. So if anyone has any info on that, let me know. And right here we see some shooting from a truck to a tank. Some violence.
I have no idea what that was about. Maybe he hates trucks.
And then this man collapses from what it seems to be bullets injected into his body. Right here, this is a pretty cool clip. We have a Riot Shield play coming in on Suburb. The Riot Shield.
You don't see a lot of those, but I love it when they work out.
Yeah, it's really only on this map I've ever seen clips of people using the Riot Shield. Other than that, not a lot going on. It's really cool how you reload your pistol while the shield is out. He's got to put it away, tactically find a spot to chill out. He's going to do it right here in a second. drops a mag, puts a new one in, pulls a riot shield back out, and breaching this top floor proves to be pretty difficult, and is unfortunately unable to do it as one of the Lemon Squad players.
He just got noped pretty hard right there.
Yeah, that shield didn't block bullets that were shot around the shield.
Yeah.
And right here, we got a Lemon Squad player, I think, trading with a boss fight player. I think he dropped a grenade or something right there.
Oh, he was having a good time right there is what he was doing. Doing his team proud.
Still here on Suburbs. Very close quarters map. And things are definitely going to happen in this clip.
That is Onward in general, though. It's all about that tension. You have these tense moments and then a quick fight and everybody's dead. Like that is what Onward's known for. Yeah.
Straight up, hit the floor, the trade. If anyone understands Onward better than I do, feel free to write and grab highlights for us. But I saw briefly Beginners overtook Globochem in points, but then Globochem caught up. It was 1290 Beginners, 1280 Globochem with their MMR.
I think I have like their like this is what it was like a week ago, and then this is it now. So and then as they're playing their matches, they'll get points up. But Globochem was not going to just take that sitting down. They're like, no. We're going to get up top. Now, granted, these guys are in different divisions, so you have the Americans versus the EU. But so it's the best in EU, best in North America. So that's not too unexpected. It's good to see the emergence of good players.
This is the Onward version of Eclipse versus Blast right here.
Yeah.
Globochem versus Beginners.
Which is what we want to see.
So close. And Globochem are the reigning champions. Globochem's Eclipse, basically.
Yes. That's pretty much what's happening. And we do keep hounding the powers that be, say, hey, can we get Onward at OC5? Because we want to see these European and American players go toe-to-toe as they continue to get better and better. I do love, it's funny, we had that conversation at the Invitational about the comms. They wanted live comms from the Echo Arena players. Like, no, it's just us swearing at each other the whole time. And the reason they wanted them is because when they had the Onward comms, it was all very tactical conversation, and it helped build that stress leading up to the point where everybody dies. So I was like, different techniques for different games. It really depends on the game that you're playing. Speaking of Echo Arena, that's why we took that extra week off. I'm still recovering from that jet lag, as well as the exhaustion of playing and sleeping and lack of air conditioning in the heat wave that is overtaking England. And just ACs are giving out all around. Halvey put together this really sick video that I worked with him on to like how I wanted to look. It's all about that last match leading into that. We'll talk a bit about how they got there, but just really you need to see this video. You need to see how it played out for that final match between Eclipse and Blast, who was 2/3 of Jax. So Halvey put this together to show us this highlight reel, the final vengeance between Eclipse and Blast. Both teams contains, as I said, 2/3 of the original teams that faced off in Poland way back in March. So, people from Jax anyway. Very early on, it turned out the way that you expected. Blast and Eclipse just trading shot for shot. People were excited in the background, but everybody expected Eclipse to win. Lemming said that Eclipse was just going to win by a mile, 2-0. They 2-0'd their whole way. They're going to 2-0 again. And so we're just back and forth. No one's really quite getting the disc stolen from them. So it's pretty run of the mill. And it's going to really depend on what happens with the timer. So with 6-9, we just expected that they were going to get the disc Eclipse and that they were just going to run it down. But instead, they run out of time. They cannot break past the defense, and they give up one round. Affenterra's like, are you not entertained? We were entertained. We were excited. We're like, clear and boost to the attack style of the EU. And we see it happen every time. They did it there, trading three-pointers. We're like, oh, okay, this is a repeat of what we saw. This is what we're excited about. But at the same time, everybody's expecting Eclipse to pull the win, and you see there, if they didn't, 6-7, they won 2 rounds, 2-0'd. Who would have thought that was even possible to happen to Eclipse to get 2-0'd? But 2-0 they did, but it's double elimination, bracket reset, as we all know Blast had already been defeated once. So we come in to the first round after the reset, and Boop is able to just toss in that 3. They're able to beat them off the joust. For some reason, Eclipse was not there in the joust, falling asleep at the wheel, I don't know. But then you get yourself another shot, just draining them one after another. Boop comes in with the half-court, long-range, mail slot shot. That one hurts to see it happen. Pavlov thinks he's going to get a shot, and Affenterra's like, no, I am Neo. I block all the bullets. Boop picks it up for another three-pointer with nobody there. 11-0, almost picking up the 12-0, but stopped by Simeon here, who's able to just barely get in as he gets his head punched to pick up those 2 points. But it doesn't matter. Avatar is having none of it as he slams another shot. Simeon tries to answer with a tour of his own, but it proves to be too little too late as we see Blast just turn it up to 11 as they knock in another, and then another, and then one more as Lone Gecko gives him a look and almost dings it on the goal, decides not to at the last second. We talked about it, that it would have been funny if he did, but he did not. So they just completely destroyed them. But if you know anything about Blast, once they get a big shutout, then they kind of fall asleep at the wheel, as evidenced here by Simeon, who waffles a little bit on that 3-point shot, but is able to pick it up because he has all day to get the 2. They're not forming up. They're not blasting. He's just slamming him in repeatedly, runs it up to 10, then bam, gets the 12-0. Mercy them, but a little bit harder than they got mercied last time. So already we're just seeing just damage coming in, just repeatedly from Eclipse. 16-0 with 13 seconds left. Is it going to be a complete shutout? No, we actually see Lone Gecko jumps in right here, goes in for the 2 with 7 seconds left on the board just to stop the shutout. They're still completely asleep at this point, and it's very, very upsetting. So that's a big loss for them. So it's 1-1 on either side. Massive shutout followed by massive shutout. The hell is going on? And it's all down to this last freaking round. Repeat of Poland went as long as we could. They lost by 3 inches last time in Poland. Simeon's able to win that joust as we expected. He's coming in for that 2-pointer, jumps out of the way, dunks it in. Very textbook. We're like, all right, here's the game that we expect to see. But bam, they run it up to 7-0. So we're like, you know what? Blast needs a miracle. What is happening? They go for a clear and boost, and miracle delivered. They just bounce it off the freaking ramp and accidentally knock it in. And Lemming was super not happy about that, but he's like, we got a crazy lead. So they start trading shots back and forth. It looks like Blast is starting to wake up a little bit, so they're not playing too terribly, but not quite on top. We even see at one point where Boop actually slams into the force field in a rookie move. And then this bounce shot right here that happened from Avatar, he was just clearing it, and it just sort of circled the drain and went in. And Lemming is like, even God wants us to lose. What is happening? So they continue to duke it out for like 30 more seconds. And are able to get a couple more points here. As you see, Palador clears it down. Simeon's going to recover it and drain that 3-pointer, as he is wont to do. That is why he plays on Eclipse, giving that 4-point difference with 20 seconds left. That means Blast has got 1 possession that they'll be able to get in. They need to get 3 points, but it's not going to do them any good because there's not enough time. We're back to Poland again, where they have to steal it away from Eclipse, and they have very little time to do it. All Eclipse has to do is just clear it, make sure they don't get dunked on. And that's exactly what ends up happening here. Not to spoil it for you, but they're not able to actually get the win. But instead of losing by 3 points like they did back in Poland, they only lose by 1. So not too sad a moment for Blast, but still, they were so close. They fell asleep at the wheel. Blast was able to keep it together. Palador dropping F-bombs and screaming at his players, saying, keep it together, we're not going to lose. And it really worked out for him. And this time around, I wasn't doing commentary. Instead, I was doing interviews.
Let's head down to the stage with our grand final winners. Of course, it's Eclipse.
Thank you, James. Oh, the hype. It was back Poland all over again. You got mercied. Then you mercied them back. What happened? How did you turn it around?
Well, anyway, it was a good game. No, it was amazing. What turned it around was we kept our energy. We kept our hype. Even when we were getting down, I was yelling at them in a good way to just play our game, do our thing. This is what I've been hammering home the last few weeks, especially that we got to have mental toughness. We have to know how to win, but we have to know how to lose. And we lost, and we didn't fall apart. And then we came back, and we won. Because this wouldn't be an Eclipse finals. It doesn't matter if it's Poland or if it's Oculus Connect 4, maybe Oculus Connect 5. In an Eclipse finals, we will make it a close game, whether we like it or not.
Yes, Lemming was telling me he didn't like a close game because his girlfriend and family at home get stressed out about it, but it was fun to watch. Simeon wasn't fully powered up, so he didn't show him the final form until now. It was absolutely amazing. Well, let's bring out this check for $6,000 for you guys. Come on, hold it. You have earned it, and I can't wait to see where this goes at OC5. Here they are, once again, Eclipse, the VR Echo Arena. Yes, clap indeed. Invitational champions.
So there it was. That was a really hype and fun event. As you can hear in my voice, I was really excited, even though it was hot and I'm wearing like a full suit because I love the game and I want people to take it seriously. The whole time, I was like, I can't believe it. I kept running back to the bar area. Most of the people were in the bar area instead of in the stands. because there was a better view of the game. You could see like the entire game like was on TV, and there was a bar. People were getting really freaking hammered. Everybody that was eliminated, they were drinking hard, and they were having so much fun watching the game. And you just hear them screaming. And then at one point, whenever Eclipse starts coming ahead, everybody goes silent in the galley area, and you hear Lemming says, "I love that silence." Yeah, because like I mean, people didn't want Eclipse to win because they win all the time. We love them to death. That's the terrible thing about it. It's like you want to hate that team because they win all the time, but if you meet anybody on the team, you love everyone on the team. So
they've won all the offline events undefeated.
Oh, right now, well, dude, so close. Both Poland and this one, they're getting closer and closer to being defeated. Oh, it was so good, man. Let's take a look at this bracket. What happened? Eclipse did what they always do. They 2-0'd everybody without any kind of a fight. 11.5 was able to actually beat Blast in some very close games. I highly recommend people actually watching those games. They were definitely quite fun to watch. One of the things that ended up happening, though, was that Blast ended up going against, 11.5 went up against Eclipse and ended up getting 2-0, just murdered on the second day, all those upper finals and beyond his second day. And it was
Eclipse is number 2, NA. Eclipse is 11.5 is number 2, NA.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So we didn't expect them to beat number 1 EU, but they did on the first day. But on the first day, Lone Gecko was super tired. He drove up instead of flying out. So he was like dead tired the whole time he was playing. And then the next day he told me, he was like, well, I'm still tired. I was like, come on, man. Anyway, but the nerves are starting to get to 11.5. There's a lot of new people that are new. Fair enough. And Speedy were not new to their first offline event, but Dash was. And Dash was an incredible player, great defender, and we weren't able to see a lot of that there at the game. I think the nerves were just getting to him. He even like at one point broke his VR cover, and luckily I brought one with me in case I got an opportunity to play, so I let him borrow mine. It did not prove to work out well for them as they go down to the lower bracket and they get beat by Blast, but the matches were a little bit closer than they were against Eclipse. So Eclipse, Lemming was telling me, he's like, no, we're going to win. We're going to completely destroy these guys. He wasn't saying it like in a mean way. He was just like, hey, I don't like close games because it freaks out my girlfriend, and my family, and I don't want to do that again. And then it ended up happening the whole time. It's like it's Palador keeping them together. So it was exciting to watch. As you can see, 3 rounds were won by Blast. It was best of 5. Blast would have won, but it is not what happened. And as a result, we saw that Affentera left the team, and now he's playing with Gravity. And we saw Lego left Boost. And now now Lego is playing with Blast. And Sundance, who got drunk way too much at the event and found himself thrown out of a couple bars, has formed his own team to sort of counteract that. So let's take a look at some of these standings from these games that were played the week afterwards. For some reason, Metamercs 11.5, Eclipse, they're all in their own cup. So Megators just got their run of the party. They were able to completely just wipe everybody out without anybody trouble. That's the annoying thing about being the Amigators, right? Is that you're incredibly good, but when you have like the likes of Metamercs and 11.5 and Eclipse winning these tournaments repeatedly, people discount you and they don't think you're that great. But seriously, try and play them. They will destroy you. Number 4 in the US is no joke.
They got NE Plus Ultra. I'd say the number 5th team, maybe number 4th in the Eclipse side of the cup also. So they pretty much didn't have anyone in the top 5 to compete with.
Yeah, so you see all that on 7-2, where it was like, it's exactly the order that you would expect between Eclipse, 11.5, Metamercs, and Ultra. But man, just putting all those guys in the same cup. I'm like, what were they thinking? At the same time, you got to cover this event. So actually, you're down there now. You got to cover this event. So did you get to see some fun matches?
Yeah, so Metamercs 11.5. Metamercs traditionally was the better team, but this time 11.5 came out on top. I say traditionally, I mean the 2 weeks before the Invitationals. Metamercs was really getting 11.5's number, but this time 11.5 won it out. And I watched Eclipse. They just won everything. It's not even... Nothing was close as far as the Eclipse games went. And I didn't get to see everything because I did cast all of the EU matches, and the NA matches are 5 rounds now. Actually, both of them are 5 rounds. So they extended both the EU and North American Cups by 5 rounds, and I tried to cover all 10 rounds, but that gets pretty exhausting. Eclipse
you should have been in Poland, man. Should have been in Poland with us with those like freaking 8.5-hour days streaming. Oh, we were dying.
I'm waking up early, like I got super drunk the day before. It was rough trying to cast 10 matches.
I like that tweet where you're like totally not hungover, Nikki. Well, let's take a look at how the Europeans did since you covered them too. Yeah. So
yeah,
that's good.
The Europeans here. Blast, of course, the number 2 team coming out of the invitationals.
Even though they got the Lego, new guy on the team.
Well. Yeah.
They got the new guy on the team, still holding on strong. Backlash coming in second. Backlash is that team that I told you now has Sundance on it, that he had to form himself a new team as Backlash related. Nilly Vic is also off that team, so I can't remember who all's on it, but it was good to see them. Cyanister, he cannot keep on the teammates. He's been having like personal issues with other teammates because of the way that he talks. People aren't really a big fan of it. And so he's couldn't even beat Backlash, who from the people that are on it and how they performed at the UK, it was probably just nerves, but it did not look like they were that great of a team. But seeing them coming in second here, they can't be too bad. The only match they lost was against Blast. However, that cup did not have the rest of the ballers in it, which you're going to see happen again. Aftershock, right, Gravity, Karma, just all shoved into the same cup. And Gravity, now with Aff and Terror on the team, pulls ahead and actually ends up pulling out that win.
I know that Karma swapped out Ali. I was floating around the lobby talking to her, and
she's the best,
she's
dude.
Subbing now. Yeah, Ali's subbing now, and then Karma has picked up a new player, and they pulled themselves up to 3rd place, right behind Aftershock. Aftershock Gravity, of course, still at the top here of the European Cup, as long as Blast is in the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, so Ali was at the event. She came down. Her English is not as good as Affentera and Viatrex, or Affentera and Viatrex are really good at covering up when they don't understand you. Because she would have to have us like stop and slow down. You know me, I talk way too fast.
Yeah.
But
I
very
was
cool.
Talking to her. I was talking to her in the lobby, and she was in spectator mode with me. I'm like, Ali, Poonader's in here. You want to co-cast? And she didn't say her English was good enough to cast. But as I just talked to her casually, it seems fine to me.
Oh, her English is fine enough to cast. It's just having people talk to her if they talk too fast. And I was like, you don't have to talk at our speed. I was trying to encourage her to do casting if she can't get on a team, but apparently she's a really good player and she just can't find a team that she wants to stay on. And I was like, man, we need to get her into the league. She has a lot of good energy. She's a really good player. They've had a couple of good female players in the EU before, but they can never get like consistency or for them to stay in it. And so I was actually telling Ali, I was like, can you form like a girl, like an extra girl on your team to like show them how much better y'all are than them? And I think it was Affinity is kind of a mixed bag. And I don't know that she knows Sia that well. I can't remember how all that worked out, but I had fun talking to her, and I thought she'd be really good. Her and Tutorial Bot just had this common joke going back and forth. Tutorial Bot, a hell of a lot of fun. Oh man, it was so good. We had
his arm still messed up from the invitational back.
Yeah. Him and Viatrex decided to arm wrestle.
At it. Viatrex apparently is a stronger, bigger guy than Tutorial Bot.
Well,
but Viatrex's arm was broken so bad he couldn't play. Tutorial Bot toughed it out.
So here's the deal. Viatrex is ripped. Like he looks really good, right? But if you look at him, if you look at Tutorial Bot's arms and like actual physical size, and you look at Viatrex, his Tutorial Bot's arms are bigger. And so I think that's why they wanted to arm wrestle, because one was like, hey, well, I look muscular, and was like, dude, size. And they went at it, and that much power, I guess that much power, if you're not used to doing that, you're going to end up with a really jacked up arm. And they were just drinking. People weren't thinking. They were having too much fun hanging out with everybody. And those of us who had done the offline events a few times, we would be like, no, don't do that. Go to sleep.
And this is
don't drink.
Day before the invitational, and they're breaking each other. These are 2 players breaking each other's arms. Not a smart strategy.
And they're really good strikers on both of those teams, so it was really bad call. And it was like their dominant hand.
Tutorial Bot, I know, missed a super clean shot during last week's cup, and he said it was because his arm was too messed up. He actually tried to throw, and it seemed to have dinked against the shield because he was floating right over it. He just had to push, but I guess he couldn't make that motion properly with his arm, or something was going horribly wrong. But hopefully those guys recover. They were debating about it in the lobby, like, should I keep playing? Should I wait for it to recover? This is legit. This is how you know esports is legit. Is because they're debating, do I play through it or do I actually stop and recover? Given it wasn't a game-related injury, it was a late-night bar-related injury.
Yeah, but you need your arm to be working to play. And like Niles, he broke his wrist a couple times and had to actually check out. Well, in at least as consolation, we had ourselves a pizza party like 3 nights in a row, hanging out in the lobby, just drinking and talking about the game. Had a really good blowout drinking a pizza party the last night. These offline events are really fun. I suggest anybody who is even a fan of this game, come out to OC5 and hang out. VR people are 100% the best community people that you're going to hang out with. That's why we try to do this as a community, build this thing as a community. It's like, hey, let's come together. We all have fun, and we all love what we do, and we aren't angry, toxic people. like you see in some of the other communities. So we do a really good job of keeping together. You have like, a few bad apples. For the most part, everybody's great. Strimbitsky and Viatrex. Strimbitsky and Viatrex were just a great show to watch together. Watching those two guys play off each other. We're like, they should be in a sitcom. That was fantastic. And then we also had Matt from ESL, their baller editor. Anything you see edited together, it's usually him, especially if it looks really good. He had us go outside and do a ring toss between Metamercs and Team Gravity. And it was very funny. He had me like run the whole thing like a monster truck rally guy. I was like, Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Like we had a good time with that one. And the video actually turned out pretty well.
Strimbitsky in that video was wearing his Hawaiian shirt. I did watch that.
Yes, he was.
And
he also skateboarded on the way down.
Dominated it. Really?
Yeah, somebody had bought like a longboard, not quite like a skateboard, but Strimbitsky's a skateboarder. That's actually how he got into the game. Him and Sealable Bag go to college together, and they skateboarded together. Oh. And Sealable Bag was going to be going to OC4, so he's like, hey, look at this thing. Look at this game I play on my phone. And he's like, yeah, they're flying me out to California. It's freaking awesome. And then Strimbitsky, like the next day, he's like, so I bought a gaming PC and a VR headset, and then bam, he's on a team that outranks Sealables for the next season. So that's pretty fun. And so he saw that skateboard and he's like, oh, and he did like this kick flip off of it, even though like it's not really a skateboard, but he was able to make it happen and we were all applauding that. But at the time, Matt didn't have his camera out, so it was a little late for it. On the way back, we were hoping that something else would happen and we didn't. I couldn't talk Strimbitsky into do it again. And I think he was so shocked that he was able to land it on this non-skateboard that he's like, I ain't risking that again. Oh, it was still fun though.
Did you guys shoot that before or after the event? Because you probably wouldn't want to.
We shot it before the day 2 event. We shot it after both those teams were eliminated.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say Strimbitsky comes in with like a broken leg and Tracks a tutorial bot coming with broken arms, and it's just like actual injuries taking place in esports VR.
Oh, dude, Echo Arena's the best, man. We also have this Community Day event that is happening as we speak. Might be a little too late to let people know about it. Right now, it's happening. Haskell and others post about it. r/Oculus, r/Echo Arena. They also tweeted about it. We retweeted it with the VRespawn News Twitter. So if you follow any of those things, you would have known that it happened. And we suggest that you follow those things. So you get together community events. Community Day events are for Echo Arena, where the pro players will teach you guys how to play like the pros. Like very commonly, the pros are only going to be playing in privates now in order to get their skills up because there's money on the line. But we organize these community day events so you can play with the pros and learn how to get into it. So you can actually up your skills instead of playing against like Smurfs and random people that are just going to like ruin your day for you and you can't get better. These guys will help you out.
Some very basic things that are easy to learn, but difficult if you can't, just figure it out yourself. So these pros are going to teach you how to re-grab off of each other and, the door shot slot, lots of cool stuff like that. The mail slot shot.
Yeah, the door thing came from whenever they go underneath the force field. I started saying under the door.
yeah. And the mail slots, of course.
That's why I say under the door, because they started calling that thing the mail slot. So I was like, well, then under the shield is under the door. Slide it under there.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Half-court mail slot shot, though, from freaking Boop. God, his long-range laser cannon of an arm.
Well, can teach you how to do that on community days if you guys want to tune in. I was on r/Oculus earlier, and Stormdrops YT, user on Reddit, was saying that pro players, he was level 1, joined into his game, and there were level 1s on both teams, and they went as far to try to get both of these level 1 players their first goal, which is really cool. Of course,
that's one of my favorite things to do, and it's really hard.
Never score a goal against these guys. Like if you put me in a game at Echo Arena, I can't score a game against them. But they were nice enough to teach them how to take shots and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys want to learn how to play Echo Arena, keep an eye out for these community days.
Yeah, it's a great way to learn. And speaking of community and people coming together, as well as speaking of laser cannons, Beat Saber. We're gonna talk about Beat Saber. They just got added to the VR Master League, right, Nikki?
Lasers. Yeah, so Beat Saber actually had a huge update. This is on the side of the VR Master League. So we are reworking a lot of the mods, and by we, I mean the modding community. I don't know how to make these plugins. But the multiplayer mod is under development. I believe right now they just have 2 players start the song at the same time. Beat Saber's been going on VRML for the past 2 weeks or so, and there are 12 players so far. I noticed Weeboo Jones and some of the other top players have not noticed that Beat Saber is on VRML right now. So if you're above average, but not literally one of the top 10 players like me, I'm floating around number 300 according to the Score Saber boards, you can get in and win. And there are prizes on VRML Beat Saber. Don't tell Weeboo Jones before he comes in and just destroys everyone. There are only 12 players playing right now, with Evil Morty leading 3-0. You guys can sign up on VRMasterleague.com.
I think he's actually the Evil Morty.
Could be. There are a lot of them. apparently, according to Rick Morty. But one match going on this week. I think we only have a couple matches going on in the EU and NA. But playing in Beat Saber VRML right now is Dr. Doom from Live. You guys might notice him from his standout videos, and he does Beat Saber MR stuff. And the Lonely Viper, a very prominent Onward YouTuber. They are going to be going at it this week on Beat Saber in the VRML. So if you guys want to join in and earn some easy money before Weeboo Jones and Whoops and all those good players figure out that it's going on over there, you guys sign up right now, vrmasterleague.com.
So we're going to go run down to one more game. Echo Combat, not out yet. They had the anniversary event. People got to play more of the beta. They had custom cosmetics that were just exclusive to the anniversary event. I wasn't able to get in because wife pregnancy type stuff, so that was unfortunate for me. But it was fun seeing all the videos coming out. Lots of people trying to figure out strategies, how they're going to play, changes that they made to the main payload map. And people already having a lot of the unspoken players that are talking about getting together and forming their own Echo Combat teams. I've been telling people, you want to get your Echo Combat team figured out now. Get in one of these betas and start practicing. I know you can't party up just yet, but you press those buttons, you can figure it out, or you can start practicing together because as soon as that game drops, they're going to give you zero notice before they add it to the league. I know it's going to pop in to VR League very, very quickly because they are thirsting for another game. And everybody who has seen Echo Combat loves it. Anybody who's played it, there's so much hype behind it. This is going to be the next one that's really going to take off. And so I suggest you really get in on one of these betas. You want to learn to play this game. Yeah. And if you can't get in on the beta, seriously, show up to one of these community days and at the very least, with an Echo Arena Pro, learn how to move. If you learn how to move, you're going to be that much ahead of anybody else in Echo Combat.
That skill carries over. It's not something that you know naturally because it's zero gravity movement. And the thing is with Echo Combat is Echo Arena is, I'm going to say, kind of class-based. You have your goalies, your bruisers, your quarterbacks, all that stuff. There are roles to play in Echo Arena, but in Echo Combat, those roles are more solidified. So you have your threat scanner guys who are probably at the front with the shotgun. Then you have your snipers who are probably in the back with healing. And of course, there's going to be a lot more abilities like the shield we saw.
The meta changes on that too. The meta changes, like already, like people are doing, they're like saving the shotgun for in the tight spaces, and then people are actually moving the threat scanner to the person who's hanging out on the cart because you already know where the cart is, and threat scanner gives away your location. So if you have threat scanner on that guy, then shotgun guy can move ahead and no one knows he's there. So there's a lot of changes that people are making to it.
Some players, of course, are playing with the sniper at the start. Then in that second section, it's a lot more CQB, see more pistols and shotguns. So there's going to be more team synergy that's needed. You're going to need a good sniper on your team. You're going to need a good medic. You're going to need a good flamingo mover. And you should be finding your teams right now because teams are going to be looking to fill these different pieces because the game is so class-based compared to, say, like Pavlov, where your class is you have a gun and your job is to shoot that guy in the head. And Echo Combat, because there's more of an objective, Pavlov does have the objective with planting the bomb and all that. Because there are different things that need to be done in Echo Combat, different roles to be fulfilled, players are going to be looking for specific players, and now's the time to take a look for those teams if you guys want them.
Yeah, you definitely need players who can aim. I was telling them, this is what the conversation we have with the unspoken players. I was like, you need 2 players who've got great aim and 1 player who can move like an Echo Arena player. There are plenty of guys who have rolled off their teams in Echo Arena or are going to drop out this season. That's a person to snatch up and put on your team. You have 2 guys that have stellar aim, and you have a guy with a great movement mechanic. That's the guy who's going to do shotgun. It's why me, as an Echo Arena player, you'll almost see me always with the freaking shotgun because I'll move around. You're not going to hit me unless you get close. And if you get close, you best have a shotgun. And I was just dodging the guys who had aim all day. I was just like, what you going to hit? You can't hit me. As a matter of fact, it doesn't look like this. It looks like this.
Yeah, you're moving your arms, which moves your entire body in the game, which can make for some insane dodging. You can basically dodge as fast as you can fling your arm back and forth. You have a particularly long arm to pivot on.
I think you're also going to see more people doing boosting and using boosting mechanics to get behind enemy lines or to get the drop on people. I can't wait to see what the pro level gets up to. Well, that is it for our show. We ran a little bit long, but we weren't going to do any editing this time around because we just had to get this episode out. And we're decided that we're probably going to change it up a little bit and just not edit the show as much and instead get those highlights together. So send us your highlights. We've put the Twitter link down there. We're going to put it in the description as well to make it easy on you. We need this information. Those of you who can give your well wishes out to Bro so we can get him back here. Any of you guys who want to send us information, just help us out. This is a community-built thing. It's going to be us that builds VR esports, this new emerging genre. But, Oculus is going to put forth, and Intel are going to put forth the technology and the money. ESL is going to put on the show. So is VR Master League going to put on the show and the tournaments. but it's going to be us that have to show up. We have to attend, we have to watch, and we have to build hype for these events. So come together with us and help us do that.
Go play Echo Combat next time it's out. Or VRML. Join Beat Saber VRML, ladies and gentlemen. You might get destroyed, but honestly, it's like bowling. You know, you're really just playing against yourself. So go hop in one of these games. We need players also.